Good afternoon. Ooh, that's loud. Hold on. Forgive me for that. Why? Testing. There we go. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Down in the Valley. My name is Edson Ochoa, one of the co-hosts of the show. And why does that thumbnail always have to come up there? Anyways, hope everybody's doing well. We've got a lot to talk about today. We have, let's just put it bluntly, the water is reaching our necks with the Toros. The window of opportunity to even think about making it to the next level, to making it to the playoffs, is closing really, really quick. And I don't know. I just don't see improvements in the places that need to be improved to even think about making it to the next level. Hopefully, I'll get proven wrong, but it's not looking good. But we'll talk about that a little bit as we chug along with the show. Like I said, hopefully everybody's doing well, guys. Don't forget that the YouTube chat as well as Periscope chat are open for it's open for discussion. You guys, have any questions or anything you want to talk about, you can post it in the chat, and if we have the time, then we will discuss that as a panel. Before we kind of move on, I do want to invite everybody to be sure to check out our sponsors. Obviously, the Beautiful Game Network, who help us, host us on their website, bgn.fm. So if you want to check out our podcast, or if you want to check out any other podcasts within the USL or MLS, be sure to check out the website, bgn.fm. Also, be sure to check out, also part of BGN, be sure to check out Carson Merck's latest article, All Horns No Bull. He has some interesting points that we are also going to discuss today regarding this match against Austin Bull that happened on last Saturday. But you can also check out and support the BGN's sponsors, which are Icarus FC and Roughneck Scars, and our personal sponsor, which is Natural Beauty Spa. Also, be sure to check out our podcast on Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn Radio, now available on Breaker, and of course, Anchor FM. Be sure to check out all audio podcasts on this and on previous episodes. So if you guys missed anything, you can check out either the video archive here on YouTube, or you can check out the audio podcast on those available platforms. And as always, you can also check out our website, ditvpodcast.com, where we usually put in articles regarding RGVFC. But without further ado, it looks like we've got Ray on the show, even though I can't see you though, Ray. Ray, how's it going?
I am operating on a new computer, sir. Good day to you. How is everything going in the land of Houston?
Extremely hot, extremely humid. I just want to get out of this apartment, but I have to do my civic duty due to COVID. I don't want to get sick. So if I don't have to get out of this apartment, if I don't have to get out of my cave, I'm not going to get out of my cave. But other than that, doing well, except for the fact that every time I watch either highlights or the actual game from last Saturday, I just get more and more depressed. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. What are your thoughts? Let's go ahead and kind of just jump in. Let's just instead of trying. You know how you're when you go to the pool and it's on a hot day, you get on the pool and it's like the water's super cold, and then you're scared of like jumping all in, so you're just trying to like go little by little. But it just feels worse every time. Just throw yourself in. The bad feeling goes away really, really, really soon when you jump in. And let's just do this today. Let's jump into our first topic, which is our reactions to Austin Bold versus RGV.
Man, where was that replication of the first 15 minutes been all season long? I felt like that was like the best first 15 minutes I've ever seen of the Toros. Quite honestly, that's probably the best way I can describe this game. The best first 15 minutes that I've ever seen of a Toros team coached by Gerson Echeverry.
I
Early
don't.
goal, early goal, less than 5 minutes into the game. I mean, hell, that's that's kind of the start that nobody expected.
I
Not
didn't.
you,
No.
not you, not
Mm-mm,
me, not anyone else.
no. Um, I did. I was actually pleasantly surprised with how well the Tours those first 15 minutes kind of set the tone. They set the tone for that match in the beginning. You know, trying to be dangerous on the offense. Obviously, you had Carter Manley and Robert Coronado going up, trying to kickstart something offensively. I mean, you see Carter Manley, who was the one who assisted Kembo Kibato in that goal in the second or third minute of the match, and even with that early goal, the Toros looked really dangerous in trying to extend the lead. It felt like Austin kind of like was taken aback with it, and they struggled to kind of react and respond to that early blow.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things that you know, based on the way the team has played the last 5 matches, you're all like, okay, where's our offense coming from? We have no key. We have no one key guy that will light a spark plug under us. No, no one. Just absolutely
But
no
you
one.
did you notice? But you notice though that the players that are kickstarting the attack, or at least in those 15 minutes specifically that we're talking about, both of them were defenders,
Yeah.
Coronado and Manley.
Yeah, and that's where like the vast experience of the team comes from. Coronado and Manley sure had the initiative to get things going early on. Now that those next 10 minutes were the most nightmarish minutes I've ever seen. Now, of course, I've seen worse, but I've never seen two straight yellows for reckless challenges.
Mhm.
I am,
Without
uh,
a need for starters.
yeah,
Let's be honest, guys. Look, we love Robert Coronado. He has been one of our best players the past season and a half defensively, but you have to call a spade a spade. This was reckless. This was reckless, unwanted, unnecessary, and flat out screwed over the teams and Coach Echeverry's game plan going into this match.
hmm,
I would expect something like this from Carlos Salcedo, which he did yesterday, but I never expected it from Robert Coronado. I mean, both of the fouls, if I'm not mistaken, were on the Austin Bold side of the field. So it wasn't like it was a 1v1 where Coronado was kind of forced to bring the player down. No, the player was had his back towards the goal. He's still in his own territory, and Robert Coronado didn't do it once. He did it twice. Both of them worthy of yellow cards and its subsequent red card. Look, I know the player knows this. I know the player knows this. I know everything. But come on, we have to say it too, honestly, because we're not trying to hide anything about that. It's blatantly obvious that I don't know if something happened to Rob, outside of the pitch. I don't know. It's just it was just it just caught everybody off guard how Robert was a little bit too over. I guess the best analogy here is okay. Engine, a car engine, right? You keep on revving that engine, you keep on having those revs like high up in the limit. You're gonna blow the engine, right? Something's gonna, push rods are gonna fly out or anything like that. This was how Robert Coronado played. Robert Coronado over revved, his performance on the pitch. I don't know if was he nervous or was he trying to prove something. I'm not sure. Look, but his recklessness and trying to be overzealous in his sliding tackles ended up costing. I don't want. Yeah, it ended up costing the game plan for Coach Echeverry. Simple as that.
I mean, to oh man, I I guess this may have been like the first time we've ever seen Coronado just be this reckless before because uh, it's kind of like unexplainable. It's it's kind of unexplainable, and now he's going to be unavailable for the next match, and that's
Yep.
kind of a sad thing.
And when you go back to the statement that we made when we started this episode, when we said that Robert Coronado was one of those players that kind of kick-started the offense for this team, and now he's not going to be there, you're like, uh-oh. This is where it starts to get very worrisome. And I don't know, it seems like, look, really there are no excuses as to why this team isn't at this point in time where you've already have a week of a break in between your games, and your offense isn't technically really producing anything. um then some questions need to be answered in that aspect. um it's almost like, I don't know how to explain this, but you know I just don't know. I just don't know, because I feel like if I say something that it's not true, then it's gonna make me look bad for, what I mean. But I just feel like the offense, no matter what we do or no matter what anybody does, is like this offense is not going to click. The strikers are not going to click no matter what you do, no matter what changes in formations are done or anything like, or personnel changes. It's another game. It's another game where the goal was scored by not a striker. It was scored by a defensive midfielder, and it's frustrating. It's frustrating. And I try to look at the positives of this game too, and most of the positives, like we already mentioned, are before that red card. So I wonder. So it just goes to show, like, how much did that red card really screw over the team? You know, could if Coronado did not get himself red carded, especially that early in the match, do you believe that they could have held on Austin for a win?
Why not, and even try to sneak in a second goal, because this was an Austin team that is barely getting their playing shape back. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
this was an Austin team that had a home loss to San Antonio 2-4 at their place, and this was like an opportunity to uh, get ourselves running. And now at this point, uh, Now the team has to go to Oklahoma City Saturday night
Hmm.
with, I don't want to say nothing to play for at this point, but you look at the standings, it's like yake.
It's sad to say it, but I mean, at this point, mathematically, it's still possible. But you're at a point where you're gonna have to play perfect games from here on out if you want to make it to the playoffs. At least try to catch up to San Antonio for in order to try and get a second place and advance to the playoffs. I mean, it's doable. It is doable, but like I said, what has the team shown consistently throughout the season that gives you kind of the confidence for me to say, okay, they're going to get the necessary results and make it to the next level. Right now, there really isn't. Let's be honest. I mean,
And to be honest, I mean, I think a lot of the groundwork has to deal with, like, okay, maybe there isn't an opportunity for us to move up to Houston, but maybe the players, you know, oh man, it's kind of hard for me to even say this, but at this point, I mean, there's like, I don't want to say the players aren't really motivated, because there's like realistically like not a chance to move up to Houston because of how condensed the
what
schedules are
about
going to be.
like Johnny's mentioning in the chat? What if Do you believe that maybe the team has quit for the season?
Oh man, at this point, I mean, Eric Winaldo once told me, if this is what their pride looks like, then these guys got to look elsewhere. But at this point, I mean, their job is only what they've got at this point, and I'm not even so sure if that's even safe now, because we're just so the team is just so low in numbers, concerning depth wise. I mean,
Morale. Let's be honest. Outside of Carter
morale is
Manley, outside of Carter Manley, outside of Robert Castellanos, and I mean, who else do you think has decent morale? You look at Tyberson. Tyberson spent most of the minutes that he was in the game, getting into with the
calling
getting
it
on with the
obvious.
ref or getting a dumb yellow card in the midfield, picking a fight. Not necessarily picking a fight, but getting into an argument with Austin Bold players and even with the ref. I mean,
I mean,
doesn't that give you kind of like some sort of indication that maybe they've already kind of like checked out of the season? I mean,
y-
I'm not saying it's actually happening, but it kind of gives. But
the
those kind
body
of
language just tells you a lot at times. I mean, sometimes
yes,
you don't need to hear it from the players themselves. I mean, Tyberson's an experienced player. He's been through it in South America in his limited opportunities. But it's up to Tyberson. It's up to Manley, and even Castellanos, who has shown that maturity to, to get have have like a freaking players meeting. Have have the coaching staff step out and have those three like take command of the room. Because
mm-hmm.
with with Coronado just red carding himself. I mean,
But isn't this where I don't know if you saw the video because I know it was shared on my Twitter feed. It's a video of what's his face, Jose Mourinho. They ask him about the difference between about captains and leadership, right? And he
yes,
said not all captains are leaders. There you some other times you have players that don't necessarily have the captain's armband, but have the necessary characteristics and have the not the audacity, but they're able to go, hey, you know what? I got this. Let me talk to the players. Let me see what I can do. He showed it. I think he gave a good example. One time he was, I don't know, was it with Porto or I don't know. But basically, they were losing they were losing, was it 2-0 at halftime, and
Hmm.
then one of his players, hey, give me 5 minutes. Let me talk to let me talk
It was for Porto.
to the rest, right?
It was for Porto.
I think yeah, probably with Porto, and I think they ended up coming back 3-2 at the final whistle. But those are those are the kind of players that you see. It takes that initiative, to kind of take that more coaches leadership role within the roster that actually makes leaders. And I feel like this is where we lack. This is what we lack because I was talking uh, to my dad and a couple of friends about it, and it's like this is where a captain goes up to Coronado like before he gets that second red yellow card, and you go up to him and it's like, hey, dude, like chill it down, man. And like especially if you're seeing that he's like borderline getting making fouls that kind of like, hey, you know what? You're getting lucky. You're not getting the second yellow. This is where he has to step up and take command of this team.
Hmm.
This is also where you, as the captain, you are the one that's supposed to represent the team in front of the referee. And I haven't seen that. Look, Castellanos playing his lights out, and I've said it many, many times. But I feel like listening to other like coaches, other players like within world soccer that talk about these issues. It takes more than that to be a captain. And right now Castellanos has the thing that has it for him is that he's at an age to be given the responsibility and learn all of the stuff. Learn that this is more than just playing lights out in the pitch, but rather taking the initiative and being an actual leader when it like with leadership capabilities. And I have a feeling that Coste has what it takes to do that, but he kind of needs the what's the word? Not motivation, but um, the confidence. He needs the confidence to take that initiative with this team. At least that's my take. But with Coronado, like that's where he needed somebody that's, hey, you know what, dude, like chill it down, man. Like chill it down. Like you're gonna cost us this game. Like I'm not telling you to rest on your laurels, but don't be reckless and things like that. A lot of especially when you know how close the two Roberts are on and off the pitch. When you have your captain and your friend telling you this stuff, it opens up your eyes, and I feel like maybe that could have avoided a situation just like that. But having moments of leadership where you have the responsibility of wearing the armband uh, for this team, and also being the captain, you're the ones that you're trying to hype up the rest of your team when things are not going well. And like I said, Castellanos, he's leading by example when it comes to like on the pitch, but a lot of times it takes more than that. It takes actual like leadership of reprimanding of actually talking to players and telling them exactly what they're doing wrong or what they're doing right directly at them in order to make a difference that a good captain can have on a team. That's just my personal opinion. I don't know what you guys think, either Ray or anybody in the chat.
Well, I will tell you this much. Last season, and you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and venture out and say this, but compare, com- I know it's two different sets of teams, but last year the Toros were actually one of the more better disciplined sides. This year, it has gone completely the opposite. W-
Mhm.
The team is like in the top five for just playing a little bit reckless. As a team, they're tied for fifth in the league with 15 yellow cards.
Yeah.
That's kind of a little bit of a scary number for me. It's a scary number that I bring up because last season very disciplined. This season, not that much. They're top five in yellow cards.
Remember, yeah, but remember who was the who was the captain last season?
Yes,
Connor
I,
Donovan, right? Experienced player. And
Donovan.
yeah, a lot of yeah, he did get that red card like after the match against Los Dos. But other than that, he had been really solid. He kind of took that leadership role, at least in my eyes. But like I said, this is I'm not really trying to diss Costa at all. Like I said, he's doing really well. It's just
No,
one of those things where
that guy. I mean,
he needs to
playing
see
lights out.
and improve. Say again.
Uh, Castellanos has been playing lights out. I mean, if you look at the entire Foot Mob app, he's probably like the top rated Toro from
Hmm.
from the entire squad. And then it's distantly Carter Manley and then Castellanos, you know. And then there's that tail off between your next set of Toros players.
Yeah.
And it's it's kind of hard to even like grasp upon. I mean, what has has really happened to this team, at least from a discipline side.
Yeah.
It's hard to grasp. It seriously is.
I do have to say though, kind of change the subject a little. I do have to say that I think Murphy has looked good. At least statistics has shown that he's been improving like game after game. I think this game was no exception. Um, but I still don't understand. Okay, so a couple of things, right? We were talking about the red card, right?
Mhm.
So my number one question is why was coach's decision to just move Kembo back to the left back position rather than making a substitution? Looks like Kemba was a little bit confused and exactly on his positioning in that position, and that's where the goal happened, or at least the cross for the was it the equalizer goal, right? The
Mhm.
1-1. Usually, especially when you have substitutions available, I mean, you would sacrifice a midfielder or something to put in your left back. I'm not sure what the idea of Coach Echeverri was not making that substitution. He waited until the 45th minute because I know he's done it before. Last season against San Antonio, when Alejandro Fuenmayor had that stupid red card in San Antonio, and it was still in the first half, and right away Coach Echeverri sacrificed Andres Arcila to bring in, I believe it. Who was it? Who did he bring in? I think it was Kyle. I think he either brought in Kyle or he brought in Castellanos in to kind of fill in that gap in the center back position against San Antonio. But this time it's like he waited until halftime in order to make that substitution. I guess it kind of left me a little bit, scratching my head.
Ah, you know, oh man, I don't want to. I don't want to challenge myself on here because kind of a dicey thing here, Edson. Last year, you kind of had that fallback where you can kind of rely on Houston a little bit to back you up, but this year, we just don't have it.
No, 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 no. But what I'm trying to say here is like when you run into a position where they red card one of your defenders, I felt that maybe he could have brought in Jimenez like right off the bat. You know, you sacrifice Christian Lucatero because let's be honest, was not having a good match, and you bring in Jimenez, Jonathan Jimenez, to kind of cover that spot instead of bringing Kembo Kipato down. And like I said, in that first goal, in that section, that's where the first goal happened. The second goal, once again off of the wing, but this time it was on the left hand side, on the left side of Austin's. In the direction Austin was attacking, it was on the left side, right? Don't get me wrong, really great. It was a really good cross. You know, was that a? It wasn't Jome, right? Because Jome was the one that scored that, right?
Yeah, Joan was the one who had that left-footed shot that just went in.
No, you're talking. No, that was the third goal though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually Jome. Jome was the one with the assist on that one in that second goal. Diouf, I think that's how you pronounce it. But I don't know what you think, man. Like if you looked at that play, but it seemed like there was a lack of communication between Kyle Adams and Robert Castellanos. Robert Castellanos stretched as much as he could to try to intercept that ball, but to me, Kyle Adams was burned by Diouf in that play. It's like he kind of faked that he was going to cut towards his left, and then ended up kept on going forward, and Kyle kind of went with that, and that put him out of the play in that cross.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a bad overall game, and you mentioned his name. If it weren't, and Carson brought it up in his article, if it weren't for Castellanos, that match could have easily ended 6-7-1.
Even with the fact that, you know, the situation that Austin is in, and then when people are saying that this could have been a whole lot worse if it weren't for Castellanos, that really says something about the state of the state of this roster. Obviously, I think it's me talking about Lucatero. It's just beating a dead horse for me. It's like the more I try to kind of give the kid a chance, you know, to show himself with the team, and I'm still not convinced. I feel like he often, and this is just personal opinion, I feel like sometimes he hides. I mean, I wasn't the only one. Even Webb Tilton mentioned on Twitter, where is Lucatero? Is he even playing? And you all know how much he bleeds orange, you know, when we talk about Webb Tilton. And he himself said, where's Lucatero? It's like sometimes I feel like when Lucatero is in, at least in this match, it looked like we were playing with even one less person. Maybe I'm just being a little bit too picky on the kid, but the fact that Carter Manley is the player that has to make the crosses into the box, got the assist with Kembo Kibato's goal. You know, that technically should be responsibility of Lucatero to feed those crosses into the box,
or even take the chances for that
to shoot. I mean, you look at what Carson posted. Garrett McLaughlin, Deshane Beckford, and Christian Lucatero. 0 shots on goal combined. How the hell are you going to find goal scoring opportunities if you don't take the opportunities to to put yourself in an opportunity to score? Even Robert Coronado, like before he got red carded, he shot from outside the box.
qué se van a disfrazar, señores?
I don't know, man. Look, I don't know exactly what's happening with this team. I don't know if it's the fact that this is a mental issue with some of our players that needs to be addressed by whoever needs to be addressed. But I feel like if we don't say anything, then we're complicit. If we don't mention like what we don't like, then what are we then? Matraqueros? Just hype men for the team? Or not? These are the things we have to say. Now, if our opinions on why this is happening are wrong, then okay, it's our opinion, but at least we're trying to prove our opinion, with facts, with what we're seeing on the field. We all have different interpretations of the game, and my interpretation, to me, is like, I don't know, Locateros just doesn't convince me for whatever reason. He's not comfortable in that position. He doesn't have enough confidence in himself, to kind of stand out in that position. I don't know. But at the end of the day, he's not performing. In fact, the whole offense is not performing. I saw better goal scoring opportunities when Juan Carlos Obregón came in than Lucatero in the games that he played. Like I said, Tyberson, when he came in, it looked like he was more focused on trying to pick a fight with somebody else rather than actually, helping the team. In the third goal, for me, this is a corner kick, right? Corner kick is executed. Tyberson clears the ball out, but he clears it towards the middle of the field. And Jome, who, by the way, is a center back. So Jome is outside of the 18-yard box. Actually, he's a little bit outside of the half moon, right? And he receives the ball. He sets himself up to take the shot and then takes the shot. And there really wasn't any kind of pressure. Castellanos kind of went up to put pressure, but it was just kind of like following the motions. He was being a little bit too conservative in putting pressure on Jome, which gave him all the time he needed to set himself out for that authentic golazo. I'm not trying to take away the fact that it was a golazo, but I felt like the Toros didn't defend that. He could have at least had one person outside the 18 for those rebounds and clear that ball out. You should have one person outside the 18-yard box, to handle those kind of things. And you can put the blame on the fact that they're playing one man down. To me, it's kind of like even then, I mean, you're 2-1. You're just, I think at that point you're just 2-1. So, you need to try to defend, especially the fact that I think we had like two players, like not just Jome. You had another player like outside the box too, but more towards the right side of the field. It's like, I don't know, like, but that is my observation on that third goal. And then in the fourth goal, oh boy, the more I see that goal, the more depressed I get. So first of all, this is off of a goal kick by Ryan Coulter, which gets intercepted by Austin, or by an Austin player. Anyways, when Austin hits that ball, when they hit that ball to gain possession back of that goal kick, you see Jimenez, I don't know if he was tired, he got a cramp or something, right? But he's kind of like bending down on his knees, which is a universal body language of I just can't give anymore, right? So the play continues, right? The defensive line looks in shambles. Like Carter Manley goes towards the midfield trying to follow the player that had the ball. Castellanos has it, and then you had another bold player going towards the left hand side of the wind, kind of making like that crossing over. And so then Castellanos has to follow this player over here. Kyle Adams, he's got like two players by himself, but he's not really guarding one or the other, or at least in a position to kind of intercept a potential pass. And poor Jonathan Jimenez is like he's just trotting back. Like even though he sees that there's two players by themselves inside of the box, two bold players, he didn't have the energy to run back and at least and try to help out with that play. And that's where Billy Forbes, Mr. Cut Inside Man, as USL Western Conference memes calls him, scores the fourth and final goal in stoppage time. I mean, that's basically my dumb analysis or pseudo analysis, if I want to call it myself, of these four goals. But
You know, I will say this much. Well, I will pose this question to you.
okay,
Does Ryan Coulter get another start between the pipes?
oof. At this point, you want me to be honest?
I mean, I already know what my response is. I'm
No,
prepared to hear what I want
no,
to hear, but give me your honest response.
no.
Wow. I mean, for me, I mean, you, it's it's nearly 65 minutes that we're down a man. Okay, 65. Uh, oh man, I can kind of agree why you said no. Oh man, but I wouldn't mind seeing them between the pipes because I feel like this was kind of an incomplete class assignment type of deal.
You think so though? I mean, zero
Yeah.
saves.
Well, I mean,
Let's be honest. Okay,
hold,
let's be
hold on,
honest.
hold
Look,
on, hold on.
let's be
No,
honest. He looked slow out there. He looked slow out there between the pipes, which understood when the fact that he is technically the coach. So he's the one that's supposed to get Blanchett in in game form, not necessarily himself. So you understand what I'm trying to get, right? Like I'm
yes.
not trying to diss Ryan Culture
Hmm.
because it's not his job to be out there between the pipes as a starter. It should be Paul Blanchett.
But
And I feel like this match was kind of like a what do you think? Okay. Do you think that this match was kind of like a point to prove, or they were trying, or coach was trying, or somebody was trying to prove to Blanchett, like I mentioned last time, you may be the only keeper, but that doesn't guarantee you the spot. If you continue to make these mistakes that are costing us points, you're going to be benched.
probably.
So
Uh,
now that he's sat on the bench, this is one of the things. Like, okay, you're going back in, but the next time you keep on making those mistakes, the same thing's going to happen again.
that's where I feel where we at our this point when it comes to our goalkeeping situation. I mean, hell, I mean, I look at the official USL Championship roster. I see three Dynamo names on there. Yet
Michael
I
Nelson, Cody Cropper.
yep. I mean, where I mean, supposedly we had this kid in the academy.
Santi Perez.
Is that the name?
Yes.
Well, I mean, who knows? I mean, who knows? I mean, oh man, I mean, it's just, ah, you know, I don't want to throw the towel in on this team, but I mean, the first 15 minutes they gave me hope. They gave me hope. I'm not gonna lie. They
You're
made a
right. You're right.
They brought a believer out of me. But then once I saw the yellow card, I'm like, ugh, okay. Once I saw that first yellow card, I'm like, okay, maybe reality has sunk into me. And then the second yellow card, I'm like, okay, okay, where does this beautiful mess end up now? And sure enough, that beautiful mess ended up being a 4-1 final.
It's
Yeah, and I will say this,
mhm.
you know, after the Coronado red card, Murphy got himself a yellow, but then when Tyberson came in, he got his in the 90th minute. So Tyberson was all like, "Okay, what's more to, what's more there to lose?" You could just see it in his body language when he picked up that reckless yellow for dissent
No, it
or
was actually a foul. It was actually a foul in the midfield.
yeah, and then he kept talking and talking with the ref. I'm like, oh
Yeah, after he got that yellow.
exactly. So I'm like, oh no, like not you too, Tyberson, not you too. You're coming back from a layoff and you're doing this. you know, where does this team go now? I mean, long ride to Oklahoma now.
Yeah, it's. I don't know what you guys think, chat. What are your reactions to this game? I think think we've. I think I'm personally mentioned everything. I guess I needed to say about this match. I mean, now going more into the fan side of myself, like even deeper into it, man, it's so frustrating. And I was I was legitly pissed. I was legitly pissed
You know,
at this
being
game.
you know, I will say this much from my personal perspective point of view. Being with you guys with the Stampede, that was quite something. I don't lie. Uh, that was quite something. Just uh, inter interacting with the fans, seeing their frustrations a little bit. That that was something of an eye catching. I mean, yes, I saw what some of the fans put after the game. Like, oh man, only if you would come to Toros University 101 and learn how everything has been done.
Oh my god, dude! So I actually like responded to a girl that because I had responded like thinking like 2 games before. I responded to a guy about that because he was like saying that Ron Patel was responsible for this and he'd lied to us, saying that and he's not fulfilling his promises when he came in. I'm like, dude, like this is nothing on him. Like right now, he can't do anything about it. You know, this is all on Matt Jordan and the Houston Dynamo. And it looked like he understood. And then you fast forward to this, he goes the same thing. Nah, Ron Patel, blah, 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 get fired, coach. Blah, blah, blah. Like, how hard headed are these people? Look, I understand frustration. We're all frustrated at this team. I'm not telling you you can't be frustrated at this team. You can't criticize the team. I do it, and it'd be hypocritical for me to tell you not to do it. But at least you have to be barking up the right tree. And I partly blame the local media here. Yes, they've. I know this is technically, it's not, doesn't generate ratings to go in depth on how the Toros are work or anything like that in the the local news broadcasts, and time is extremely limited, and obviously other sports have bigger priorities, especially now that the NBA is back, that
I'm looking at you,
MLB is
UIL.
back.
I'm staring directly at you, UIL. You have nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, UIL.
But the fact that people that have a higher reach within the Rio Grande Valley audience, like Telemundo, Univision, Channel 5, Channel 4, The Monitor, the fact that this is never mentioned to inform the fans exactly how this works. So they automatically assume that, the fans automatically assume that this is like any other team, that the front office handles everything, technical and marketing, business side of this, when of the team, when that's not really the case. And I actually, responded to another girl. Like I said, the girl I mentioned a little while ago, because she was, wow, like like she was very disrespectful to my dad. Usually I don't try to go head to head in these kind of comments, right? Because I'm not one of those to try to instigate arguments online unless I get really fired up. But the fact that she disrespected my dad, was like, look, I need to stop this. And all I said was, that RGV doesn't control the technical aspect, right? That it's Houston Dynamo and Matt Jordan. Never responded. She never responded. That's the thing, though. That's the thing. It's like they don't know. They don't know. They don't know how it works. They don't know how any of this works. Why? Simple. Sometimes the conspiracy theorist in me believes that this is all intentional by Matt Jordan and the Houston Dynamo. Don't mention how things work. Nobody's going to pin it on them. Nobody's going to care to pin it on them or know that the actual blame's on them. They're going to go and blame RGV because the roster is poor. And Matt Jordan, he's chilling there in his office. Well, not literally chilling, but you know what I mean. But the fact that he's not bearing the brunt of the RGV fan base or the anger of the RGV fan base when it's necessary, and honestly, it's well deserved. It needs to be criticized by the RGV fan base because of how shoddily he's prepared this team to compete in the USL Championship, especially in 2020. But those that are supposed to inform and teach the fans about the team, they kind of just cover, just the surface of it. They don't go as in depth as we do. And sometimes I wish we could go deeper, but but we're limited with the fact that this isn't our job. And it's just frustrating that it has become such an echo chamber. Facebook has become such an echo chamber for this misinformation. Game in and game out. It's just frustrating. It's just frustrating to see that the first people they want to blame obviously are coach, which, like I mentioned before, while there are some things that I don't agree with how, it's tactics wise or anything like that, like, just like I mentioned today, the timing of his substitutions, or the actual substitutions. But if you don't have the necessary talent, the necessary players to execute your tactics correctly, then what do you do? What do you do as a coach? It's like I mentioned with Federico de Michelis of Todo Dynamo on Monday. Because he's one of those like, well, don't you think that Coach Echeverry has a bigger responsibility on how bad the Dynamo are playing right, or the Toros are playing right now? I'm like, okay, let's assume that, okay, this team isn't This team isn't scoring. But statistics-wise, you see that for the most part, they are generating some opportunities. They just aren't being effective, whether they're crosses or their actual shots. And that's not really the 100%. That's not really the coach's fault. He's not gonna go in there and grab him by the hand and say, "Look, this is how you shoot," or "Look, move your leg like this. There, you just scored a goal." No, this is professional soccer, and you see, and I told him, okay, all right. So you say, well, it's the coach's responsibility to put in players, like if a player isn't performing, sub him out or replace them the next game with the bench and see how they perform. I mean, he has done that too. He's put in Kyle Edwards. He's put in JC Obregon. He's put in Deshane Beckford. And it's the same thing. So that's not on coach. That specifically is not on coach. It's on the players. The players need to have responsibility as well. And I mean, I said it before, you look at when Coach Echeverry is given the necessary materials to execute, he's given the liberty of actually choosing his own XI in the fact, like, for example, if they loan down a player, he's not, or what I would assume, forced to place him over somebody of the Toros that is actually performing well. Big example, Sam Junqua and Robert Coronado. Mm-hmm. I mean, you saw it last season where they ended up with a 5-game unbeaten streak, and that was when the XI had continuity. Robert Coronado kept on starting despite the fact that they had Sam Junqua loaned down to RGV, and that's what and you saw those results. If the Toros, if the coach Echeverry is given, a long-term process to work with this team continuously, we see the potential that this team could have with players like Carlos Esmal, Michael Salazar, Eric Bird, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But what's the problem? Well, every year most of our good players leave, whether for the Dynamo or they've already been here, or they've already been here 2-3 years, and like, no, well, you can't. You're not going to make it to the Dynamo. You're out, and we have to start from scratch again with youth players. Academy players right out of college. And I mean, how is that beneficial to coach, to field a competitive team, to fight for playoffs, when almost every year he has to start from scratch and teaching them how to transition from the college game to professional? I don't think that's fair for Coach Echeverry to go for his head for a situation that he really has some control over. This is all on Matt Jordan and his way of thinking, and he makes it seem like, oh, this is the perfect plan. This is how we know this works. When in reality, it's not working, because even the players that they get from the Toros and send them to the Dynamo, they rarely get played. Why? They're not ready for MLS yet. Y'all understand what I'm trying to get here? Y'all understand why I say we need to bark up the right tree with this situation? If we want to make the Toros competitive, we need to start from the people that actually control our technical aspects, and that's the Houston Dynamo. So I want y'all to cut the bullshit, and I said it, bullshit, of blaming Ron Patel for the things that happen on the technical aspect of this team. Because this is our 5th season, and if you don't know how this team works, when we have, I hate being that guy or being the conceited guy, but having us kind of year after year explain exactly how this shit works, and you still continue to spout that bullshit on social media, which I understand, freedom of expression. I'm not going to tell you, like I said, I'm not going to tell you not to criticize the team. But at least do it right. Like, at least do it with, with proof, or at least know what you're talking about. And if we're telling you that it's not, that this is not the case, this is the case, believe us. We've been covering the team for all this time. Not only have I been covering the Toros by going to the press conference with Coach Echeverry and everything like that, I've been to the Dynamo. I've been to Dynamo press conferences. I've gotten on the bad side of Dynamo coaches with questions regarding the Toros. So I know at least a little bit more than the average fan, and I'm not like I said, I'm not trying to brag or anything like that. But at least what the knowledge that I have gained, that I'm trying to inform you all like I should, which is my responsibility to inform my fan base, to inform my audience on how the Toros work. At least I'm trying to do that, and I know why. Some things are still murky, but that's the way the Dynamo work in this lack of transparency. There's nothing I can do about that, but you can try to probe as much as you can to get those little details, put them together, and kind of explain what's happening. But if you're willingly ignorant and get those little details, what's going put on them here? Together, and excuse me. And okay, I just lost my train of thought. Okay, but if you continue to spout off that nonsense, and somebody calls you out on it, learn from it. I'm not trying to kick you out of the fan base. I'm nobody to tell you can't be a fan of the Toros. I'm nobody to tell you that I'm a bigger fan than you or anybody. And I don't like being that kind of guy. I don't like, and I've said it before on the Peel, I've said it before here on Down in the Valley, and even Mente Futbolera. I don't like the fans that say, "Oh, I'm a bigger fan because I do this, this, and this," and you're not a fan because you don't do this. You're not part of a supporters group, or you don't have a podcast. I hate those kind of people. But at least if you're given the opportunity to inform yourself and give an educated opinion on the matter, which I know sometimes I kind of fall into some sort of hypocrisy before, and I'm willing to admit it here on the show, where I've said baseless opinions. But when I learn how exactly happens, I learn, and I try to inform you all about it if I'm allowed to inform you about it. But we need to do better as a fan base to educate ourselves. And that also includes that the local media, like I mentioned, all those channels, all those outlets, they need to do a better job in informing not just the score lines every Saturday or every whatever. We need to inform the fans. That way we can actually be successful in putting pressure on the Houston Dynamo and Matt Jordan. Because if it's just us, the select few of us that listen to Down in the Valley, we're a small percent of the overall fan base. We're not going to do anything. And if the rest of the fan base are just going to focus on bashing Ron, bashing Coach, you guys understand what I'm trying to get at here? And I'm sorry for the curse words, but it's just like, I'm just fed up with it. I'm just fed up with, and not necessarily about pissed off about the fan base, but I'm kind of pissed off at myself that I wish I had the outreach to get these people to teach, to inform more of the fan base, that I haven't done enough to reach out more to this fan base, kind of help educate them about these teams from what I know, right? Or what Ray knows, or what Jacob knows, or what Cesar knows, or what you guys in the chat know.
You know, thankfully, I don't have enough courage to go after these fans because I personally don't have an opinion on fans. It's up to them whether they choose to get their local sports information about. I mean, a lot of it here is driven by high school sports. And that's kind of a sad thing because it portrays the mentality of a sports fan that there's nothing beyond high school sports. Fine and dandy, that's up to you. You can watch your NFL Sundays, you can watch your NCAA Saturdays. That's all fine and dandy. But here you are in an exclusive area where we are privileged to have this type of entertainment.
Mhm.
Okay. I, I've seen it here locally, and it's kind of sad that individuals like me and you who have absolute no J school cred, no mass communications cred, to be covering the Toros, and in my aspects the Vipers, the university, and any other sporting event that comes here to town.
Yeah.
It you know, and it's kind of sad to see. I mean, I don't get in and react with the fans because I know we're we're putting ourselves in a vulnerable position. Okay, but I think that this is an opportunity for both me and you to unite, gather our knowledge, and not kill them with kindness. I think let's not hurt them with honesty either, but let's educate them with some um huh, but let's educate them with some executive actions. Maybe they need a little bit of a flow chart here to understand how this works. But even then, you're still going to have your one or two people that are calling for Gerson's head. I can see why they would do that because Bill Parcells said it in many occasions. You are what your record says you are.
Yeah.
But then you have new guy Ron Patel, who you have these part of the social media engagement that want them to build Rome in 24 hours. I haven't seen that done in modern day history.
Hmm.
I haven't seen it done anywhere. It takes time to build something really, really good. The Vipers, I'll give you an example. They had a losing record their first season. They had a losing record the second season. Come the third season, they they made noise and lots of it. The fourth season, not that great. Fifth season, they made noise. Sixth season, continue making some noise because they had some continuity. Seventh season, okay. Ninth season, 10th season, and now they're to the point where now they have their own practice facility, their own building to play in. Building a soccer team takes time, okay? And I can share the same thing about baseball. And baseball worked in an independent fashion. It worked in an independent fashion for a little while. Then, when league ownership took over the team, it ended quite sourly, and it dragged. And I say this because I was a part of it.
I'm assuming you're talking about the Edinburgh Roadrunners.
Correct, correct. Edinburgh Roadrunners slash Coyotes. I was I was a part of that. I got to work behind the scenes of that, and believe me, it was ugly. Believe me, it it is not even close right now with the Toros than what it was with baseball. There, I mean, it is miles apart, but yet the fans need to. I guess fans should continue to educate themselves by I don't know. I mean, we're not here to defend Gerson. We're
Mm-mm.
not here to defend Ron Patel, but we are trying to explain a lot of the things that do happen within the team in a in-depth analysis. Now, I say if the team doesn't get a result, and if teams start barking up that tree, oh, you better expect I'm getting in there, and I ain't having none of it. I am not having any of it with these fans that yes, okay, they may pay a ticket, but how much time are they willing to spend to get educated? Because remember, college education costs you money, but when it comes to learning stuff from the media, it all depends on on what you have. You are either paywalled or not paywalled. Take advantage of this that this isn't paywalled, folks.
And let's be honest, the fans that would go out of the way to pay for a paywall subscription of, let's say, The Athletic or any other similar publication like that, they're your diehards. They're the ones. They're the ones that are, you know, watching the show or that are active within the supporters group, or at least active on social media whenever something RGVFC related comes up.
And I'm also
And
looking at you, Carson Merck. Now I'm looking at you, Carson Merck. You've seen this team from day one.
mm-hmm.
You have nowhere to hide, nowhere to run here. You've been down here once. You covered the team from wherever you may be, whether it's here locally, whether it's in Las Vegas, whether it's in Cleveland, Ohio. I mean, you know just as much about as a passionate fan base as anyone else. You you've seen the team, you've covered the team. Let's be honest, everyone. This is something great we've got going here. Ron Patel just needs time, even perhaps the independentization of the team. Who knows?
Hmm.
Who knows? I mean, you've seen the body of work that he's done in New Mexico.
Hmm.
I can assure you, if
And look, he's going to Ron Patel is going to be make a mistake here and there. This is the first time being a president of a soccer club, you know, especially from second division. So there's some things that might not work for him, and if it happens, well, obviously we're going to point it out because there's some things that we don't agree about how something is handled or anything like that, just like we did last week. Which, by the way, I personally made a mistake of not having his point of view on something as serious as what happened with that match against Tulsa. But basically, it was they did fight for the team, but the league was they already had the plan of going with what Tulsa said, which was playing then and there. And it's one of those things where if the league is decided on doing it, it's like, well, you do it or you forfeit, and obviously you're not going to forfeit. So, but at the end of the day, what we're trying to get at is like, Ron is trying to do his best. He has a lot of great ideas, which I feel like some of them have really helped out a lot, in trying to instill something in the fan base. The fact that fans are complaining that the results aren't positive is a good indication that this fan base was electrified somehow. Whether it's Ron Patel's marketing, any other thing. But we didn't see a lot of that before. So this is a good sign. So I'm giving y'all a positive right here, Facebook guys. The fact that you guys care enough about this team to complain on social media about it, shows good things, but do it to the correct places, right? Need that little step, a little bit, that extra step, to learn more about, especially about this team, and know who we have to come out with pitchforks and torches, to get this team, to perform correctly on the pitch, right? Which is the Dynamo and Matt Jordan. But, like you said, Rome isn't built in a day. And look, a lot of people have said, well, sometimes you need to also, you need to be a part of the solution, right? Which I definitely agree. I feel like I personally have done a lot of complain, and not enough of like, okay, this is a solution that, that I think would be. So this is my solution, and I said it with Federico and Todo Dynamo on Monday on Instagram. The Dynamo wants an affiliate, right, to help the transition from academy to professional. But they see that the distance between Houston and the Valley is too big, and it's not working out for X or Y reason. On the Toros side of things, this is not working out. This is a little bit too one-sided on the Houston Dynamo. My solution is allow the Toros to become independent, but continue to have some sort of partnership. For example, like they used to have with Charleston Battery, or I think was it Richmond Kickers? I don't remember exactly. I know Carson had it. Let me look at his article, because he did mention that. I know one of them definitely was Charleston Battery, that they had an agreement or a partnership before going to the Toros. Pittsburgh Riverhounds, se me acordé. And, allow the Toros its independency, but if you want to have like one or two that are better than League One, but maybe not are they yet to make it to MLS, allow a loan, have that sort of alliance, just like San Antonio had with NYCFC. But allow that alliance where you can you can loan a player or two for a whole season, and then you can have them back, but not let it be like the whole focus of it, be the, whatever the Dynamo gives you kind of thing. Allow the Toros to have control of their own destiny, right? Even as well as in the technical aspect of things. But then you're in a situation. Okay, well, what about the kids? What about the young players? Start a League One franchise in Houston. You have Aviva Stadium, which is the home of the Houston SaberCats, the rugby team at Houston Sports Park. It's a decent sized stadium, beautiful stadium. Multiple it allows you to host multiple sporting events there. It's used for rugby, but I'm pretty sure you can use it for football. I'm pretty sure you can use it for soccer. You don't need to build any more infrastructure. Create your League One, your Houston Dynamo 2 in League One, which allows you for those kids to train alongside the Dynamo first team, just like Glenn Davis and a bunch of other Houston pundits want out of their affiliate. You allow the Toros to become independent, but the organization, the relationship with the organization isn't just it doesn't become like a rivalry or they become enemies. At least it maintains a sort of relationship between both organizations, but not make it the focal point that kind of affects the Toros. To me, that is my solution that I bring out there to whoever's listening from both organizations. At the end of the day, I'm just a guy with a microphone in front of me. I'm not getting paid the millions or the thousands of dollars, to make these kind of decisions or to actually execute these kind of decisions. This is just me from the outside looking in, from somebody who has seen this team from its inception, who has covered this team. I feel like this is the most viable solution that I can give to both organizations so that we can all be happy. Sloth, he says they should have you guys on. Look, Sloth, we would definitely appreciate having the opportunity, but it also goes into a situation of, we don't want any meddling from the Toros front office to what we can or cannot say. It's almost similar to the Toros and Dynamo. The more the closer we become, kind of like, for example, we do like this, or we become like unofficial or official podcast of the Toros, we lose some sort of independence on what we can or cannot say about the club or anything like that. It'd be great. I feel like it would give us a much bigger tool to reach out these fans. I mean, Glenn Davis does it with the keys of the game for the Houston Dynamo. I'd be okay with to do that, but we also have to take into consideration that the more we become, what's the word I'm trying to look here, not absorb, but where I'm trying to get by the Toros, then we don't, it doesn't become grassroots and anymore, a grassroots fan based podcast anymore, but a lot of people are going to think, well, these guys are like the talking arm of the Toros. We lose the sense of objetividad, unbiasedness from what we analyze and talk about the club. But if push comes to shove, I guess whatever it takes, but at least we need to find a way. What's I don't know, is it from South Park or is it from The Simpsons, where it's like, I need to find a way to reach these kids? I think it was Cartman from South Park. But that's basically how we're at right now. It's like we need to find a way to kind of reach these fans that are not watching us, week in, week out like you guys do. Which kudos to you guys. Everybody is watching right now. You guys are amazing. You guys are awesome, and you guys have made us who we are at this moment. To the fact that just in this past game we received a shout out. At the ESPN Plus broadcast of the Toros versus Austin Bold game, goes to show how much we have grown as a media outlet.
Well, I mean, you've put in a lot of effort to get to where you are, and I congratulate you, sir. Now, moving on to OKC.
Thank you. Let's move on.
Here's a team that has not won at home in their last 5. This was this is an OKC team in which again we took the lead on earlier in the season, only to walk away with the draw. Now I'm pretty sure now with more games under their belts, um, I would. I mean, holy. I mean, it's just how man. You know, I felt like the team performed better on the road against OKC to get that result. I mean, they're right there in sitting distance with 5 points. I mean, yeah, there is a 5 goal swing, whatnot, but I just feel like okay, mm, maybe this might be the one game where we have to get a result and just run with it. I mean, play some of the ugliest soccer. I mean, just score 1 goal. I don't know, 50th minute, perhaps.
Hmm.
I'll take the goal any time of the game. You don't have to play beautiful either.
Yeah.
No, I'm not asking the team to play at the Atalanta style before their meltdown against PSG today. I'm not asking of that.
Too soon.
Just play just play ugly soccer with some offense and try to run away with the result there.
At this point, function goes over form. We are in desperate
For-
need of these 3 points.
I
But
mean,
my question is how is the team morale wise?
yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean,
it's difficult to bounce back when your team has low morale. When the majority of your team has low morale, it's very difficult to bounce back from that. Add into the fact that the Toros really they aren't really known for keeping their concentration for 90 minutes. That's exactly what happened against OKC last time. They were playing well, but that play with the equalizer right almost to the end, that sealed the deal. And sadly, this is not going to be a team that's going to keep a shutout because either Blanchette's going to make a mistake or somebody in the back line is going to make a mistake, and that's going to cost a goal. That's how it's been these last couple, not just this season, but these last couple of years. Oh, sí, oh Dios. God. There's this one point right now where I had my cap on and made me look like Adal Ramones. Um,
Rudy.
Get in, Meneligi!
No.
Ah,
Ya escuchamos monólogo.
true. But the point I'm trying to make is right now I personally don't have confidence. If the team what it appears
have faith.
doesn't have confidence in themselves or enough morale, then I don't have confidence because the team is the one that are actually out there executing this.
You a ye man with little faith.
Call it what you want, but I'm just saying it the way it is for me.
You know,
I'm a diehard Toros fan, like honestly. For just speaking of myself, I'm one to want to defend the Toros, but we also have to be realistic. A lot of our players really haven't shown that what it takes to be in Division Two. In Division Two,
the mental maturity
correct,
just hasn't caught on to them yet.
correct, and it's going to be a long process. It's going to be a long process because most of these guys, like I said, they're out of high. I was going to say out of high school, out of college. They're out of college. They have very little experience as pros. Who has experience as pros? Tyberson. And I'm talking about like 2+ years of experience. Tyberson, Deshane Beckford, because this is his second year, but he was already pro before in Jamaica. Castellanos with more than 3 years of USL experience.
Carter Manley,
Carter Manley.
James Murphy, playing in Scotland.
Okay. I guess we can assume that. What about Blanchett?
Yeah, he came out of Loyola Marymount.
Because I know he played for Cosmos, but right?
The U23s.
Okay, so then no. So far we have 4. Who we got? Kembo?
Yeah, he played some League One before.
Okay. Man, if we look at this whole roster, it's like it might actually like destroy that idea on but we need to look exactly at that roster. But I don't know, it's just it feels like sometimes they play like they don't. Obviously, you can't compare 2 years of experience, 2 or less years of experience compared to like other teams that have like 5 years of experience or sometimes even more in some players being a professional. So all of that adds up. But something needs to be done to get these players to turn this boat around. You guys are it. You're what we have. The hope that we have relies on you. Yes, we're always going to be supporting the Toros. We're going to be supporting the team. We want you all to succeed. And this is coming from myself, and I'm pretty sure most of the fan base agrees with me as well. We have trust, or we want to put our trust in you guys because you're what we have. You're representing the Toros. Prove us right. Like, prove us that you can do this. I'm not saying we deserve it. That's anybody else's call. But do it for the crest. And even if things look bleak, keep pushing. You'll get a lot more respect out of us, out of the fan base, out of coach, out of even the Houston Dynamo. When you keep on pushing, when you keep on playing at 100%, even when things are going bad, but at least you try. At least you never stopped. At least you never gave up. That's what we want. We may not be getting the results, but don't give up. Don't hide. Don't hide behind the ball. Don't hide behind anybody else to try to not participate. Play how you know how to play. Have the confidence in yourself. Look, you're going to make mistakes. Sure, we're going to be saying it here on the program. But don't let us be what makes you not keep on trying. You see what I'm trying to get here? This is what we ask. Just keep on trying, keep on pushing, keep on giving your 100%. And take initiative. Take initiative to lift this team from the rut that we're in right now. And I'm pretty sure if you are successful, man, you are going to gain the respect of a lot of people, including ourselves. And it shows a lot more maturity when you do that than not trying at all or being a ghost out there.
With regards to this Oklahoma City team, of course, we are all very familiar with Clockwork Charlie. Okay. They are a team that likes to have a high number of possession. Um, oh man, you know, I just feel like if they are, you know, they have a 5 game winless streak in their home turf. I think the Toros can extend the streak. I don't know why. I mean, this is just my symbol of faith to the team. This is my symbol of faith to the team. I think that I think with I think if they stare at that table long enough, I think that might be just motivation enough to really just break that goose egg on the left hand column for this week. I don't know about you, but I just feel that with Emil Go probably getting the start this weekend, thanks to the red card, I just feel that, oh man, I can see this Toros team pulling off a, a 2-1 win.
So let's talk. All right. So we know Eric McHugh is going down to the Rio Grande Valley for the rest of the season. Well, we don't know that, but it's assumed based on what he posted and the way that they're kind of treating this whole thing, right? With COVID, the COVID situation between both cities. So I have a feeling he's going to be here for the long term. So he'll be available for coach to put in. I think um, my prediction with that at least that back lineup, it's going to be to me. I feel like it's going to be Carter Manley, Robert Castellanos, Eric McHugh,
Kyle Adams.
and Kyle Adams. Exactly. Kyle Adams is not a stranger to the left back position. And let's be honest, the fact that Jonathan Jimenez, he only played 45 minutes and he looked really tired at the end, yeah, it's not really a good sign. It's, for him to actually have to play out like maybe potentially 90 minutes, and if he's not 100% in shape yet, we need somebody there. So Kyle Adams to me seems like a logical replacement for Robert Coronado with his red card. Now, for me, as far as score prediction is concerned, I'm going to go with another 1-1.
Okay. Well, no, a 1-1 draw might seem fair. For my bold result, oh my. I see the team playing pretty well, but end up being scoreless at this point. A scoreless, well played 0-0 draw on the road. And we walk away scot free with no yellows or reds to speak about.
My bold prediction for me. Oh, man. 1-0 win.
We hold a goose egg, huh?
That's bold, man. For me, that's really bold.
Yeah, I mean, considering all circumstances.
And honestly, I still don't see a way for from 1 week to the next, the offense goes from completely ineffective to being guns blazing against OKC Energy.
Well, I mean, look.
But this is where the defense needs to continue to step up.
True, but I think I mean, at some point, Gerson just needs to pull all of his strikers in, just just really go after them. I mean, this is a professional job now. This is what you have.
Look, let's just let the players be glad that Tuca Ferretti is not their coach. Oh boy.
Out of all people, you have to bring him up, huh? Wow, that is quite quite resounding. That is quite resounding. No.
What I mean is about the fact that at least they're not being yelled at in their face, like Tuca usually does. I mean, he has a similar issue with Tigres right now, where they're kind of lethargic on the offense, and you can pin the blame on him or anything like that. But just the
Well,
fact that how this is not a Liga MX, so we're not going to go in depth to that. But what I'm trying to get at is at least with the fact like coach personality. That's what I'm going at more. How he reacts. When things aren't going well. Compared to maybe Coach Echeverry. So. But that's my bold prediction right there. So just a little bit of news. So Ian Hoffman is going to be with the Dynamo this week. Believe I was told by Twitter that Tal Ramos, I believe last week, came on the show with Glenn Davis on Soccer Matters and mentioned that Ian Hoffman and Eric McHugh were going to be training with the Houston Dynamo before going down with RGV. Eric McHugh has supposedly made the travel already to the Rio Grande Valley and is going to report to Gerson Echeverry if he hasn't reported already. It's still pending with when Ian Hoffman will make their trip down to the Rio Grande Valley and report and actually be part of the RGVFC Toros. I was told before that he was in the Rio Grande Valley before. Maybe he was told to go to Houston, train a little bit with the first team, and now that he's got clearance, now he'll return to the Rio Grande Valley and play the rest of the 2020 season with the Toros. The details are murky because nobody has said anything official about that. It's just what I've been told, what I've heard, from hearing Tab Ramos, and or Glenn Davis, the little they do talk about the Toros or anything like that. Now, yesterday they did have on Soccer Matters, and I posted it on Twitter. So if you guys want to listen, they did have a segment where they were talking about Ian Hoffman, and mentioned some of the things. So be sure to check that out as well. I think the segment is about maybe like 8 minutes long before they start talking about other youth national team players. But they do talk about Ian Hoffman. They talk about what they expect from him under Tab Ramos, which I'm surprised they didn't even mention nothing about having to go down with RGV, which I'm a little disappointed in that, but I mean, whatever. What are the characteristics that Ian Hoffman brings to the table? Obviously, he can play right back, and he can play and also he can play all positions in midfield as well. So he brings in versatility. It brings in maturity, leadership, and so it's going to be I think it's going to be a good asset to have for the rest of the season. But I guess we'll see. We'll see what happens once he's ready to be called by Gerson Echeverry. But like I said, check out on my Twitter of the Down in the Valley at Down in the RGV, and you'll find that tweet there. You can listen to that podcast and learn a little bit more, just like I did. I learned a little bit more about Ian Hoffman before he suits up for RGV for the first time this season. Let's see what else. What else we have to talk about? No, that's pretty. I mean, that's pretty much it as far as news. Ray, go ahead and give us final thoughts for tonight.
I, you know, I just want to make a real an announcement here, real quick, if I may, Edson, here on your platform. But guys that do follow my platform on anchor.fm/STBS, starting next week, I am going to be working on a series called The State of the Toros. Now, I'm going to try to make this a four-part series where I am going to try to make efforts to talk to someone in the Toros front office. I'm going to try to get someone in the Houston media to talk to me about the Toro situation. And yes, I am actually going to try to get Matt Jordan, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to try to get Matt Jordan. I'm going to try to get the record straight. I'm going to try my best. And if I cannot get the four-part series podcast available, then I will deal with three. But knowing how complex these times are, I will rest assured that I am going to at least try to make this a multiple part series on the state of the Toros. This is going to be like uh, a full blown multiple part series podcast of the RGVFC Toros and see where the team stands despite the negativity that has been going on with the team, and try to set some records straight with a lot of these fans that have little knowledge of what's going on with the team. I just feel like there's a need to continue to educate these fans despite the results that are happening right now. I just feel that uh, the more time goes on, the more uh, the more they are picking on the wrong people to blame here. Now, this isn't defending Gerson. This isn't defending Ron. This isn't defending Matt Jordan. This is just trying to get the overall example of how a an affiliation should really work, and and how and where it's missing its points. Now, to close your show a little bit here, Edson, you know, it's been a rough time for the Toros, and especially here in the valley, because you know COVID still running wild, and you know we kind of depend on this team to give us a little bit of that little bit of ray of hope, to give us something to cheer about, to stop reading into negative presses. I just hope that this team just finds it in them to give us something to smile about. I mean, right now this is like our hope a little bit. I mean, this is like, although we the although we mean the fans aren't big in numbers, but they're there, they're loyal, and it's like the one thing that I could see, that I can hope the valley just rallies around for at least 2 hours, maximum three, including press conferences, to give us something to look forward to, instead of just hearing the news about what the devastation of Hannah, the COVID-19 effects, how they continue to grab a stranglehold here. I mean, I just hope the team realizes that there's something to continuously look forward to.
Well, guys, that's going to be it for tonight. Appreciate everybody who tuned in at this moment. Like I mentioned, if you guys missed any part of this show, be sure to check out the video archive, which should be available maybe like a couple of hours after we finish streaming. So you guys can go back and listen to any part of the show that you probably missed. Had a lot of good topics that we really need to kind of put out there, and learn more about this team. Be sure to follow us on our social media, which you can find up there. We got Facebook, Instagram, Twitter as well. We try to focus more on Twitter, but they're available there. Check out our website, ditvpodcast.com. You'll be able to find our audio podcasts on Anchor FM, obviously on the Beautiful Game Network's website for Down in the Valley, Stitcher, Google Podcast, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn Radio, Spotify, and I believe those are it. I'm trying to phase out SoundCloud because I don't want to pay $15 a month anymore, especially due to this financial situations due to COVID. Really appreciate you guys for listening to us rant, to listening to us kind of vent about this team, give our opinions. That's where we're here. We're here for you guys, for you guys to vent as well, for you guys to give your opinions, discuss. That's what we're here for. We're giving you guys a platform to talk about this team, learn more about this team, and we keep on growing, but there's still a lot of work to do to get where we want to.
And
But I'm looking forward to continue to grow this and the next couple of seasons.
I will say this much, fans, we may be harsh right now, but I will tell you, for any general fan who wants to learn about this team, our inboxes are open. We're not limited to just the show. Our inboxes are open. Feel free to drop a dime, drop a question, whatever. We're open to it. We'll listen to it. We'll respond in the most privileged manner in which we can. So that way you guys can continue understanding the evolution of this process. I mean, you guys don't have to be so hard on Patel, especially after last week. We don't have to be difficult on the guy. The guy is taking his time to reach out and try to do his best possible job. And this is something where we have to con la unión se hace la fuerza.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just something that I hope we can get to do.
Well, Ray, definitely appreciate you coming in like you do every week with your insight. If only we weren't just a YouTube show. If we were an actual TV show, like Content, but that takes money, which we don't have.
Look, I'll tell you this much about a little secret about the industry here in the Valley. When they want to act like they're a Houston or a Dallas, it's kind of difficult to get in those footsteps. Con dinero baila el perro, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
But hope to see you all next Wednesday at 7 p.m. here on the Down in the Valley YouTube channel, and also on Periscope on Twitter at Down in the RGV. We appreciate all of y'all's responses, all of your interactions. We love you guys, and I continue to add the invitation. If you guys love the stream, be sure to give it a like. Be sure to share it, not only just after the show, but like during the week. Like, talk about it on social media. Like, hey, make it public. I was watching the Down in the Valley podcast. They talk this. I don't agree with this. we'll be more than happy to interact with y'all outside of these 2 hour, 1.5 hours or 2 hours of the show. But that's how we build interaction. That's how we build a market. That's how people know about our existence as well. We can only do so much to market ourselves. The most important and the most effective marketing tool is word of mouth. So if you guys love this show, if you guys enjoy the topics that we talk about, or if you don't enjoy them or you disagree with us, make it public. Share all about us. Hey, these guys. They really. I love what they talk about the Toros. They bring a lot of good insight and stuff like that. That's how we grow too. That's what makes our growth organic. So all we ask is, if you guys love the show, what we talk about, share us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever. Make the Down in the Valley name known out there, and hopefully we can keep on attracting more of these fans that don't know about this team. They can learn about us, and they can know more about the Toros and make a more educated opinion about the team. But guys, it's been a long day, and it's already 2 hours. Thank you guys. Appreciate. Be safe out there. Wear a mask. Stay hydrated. Don't go out there if you don't have to. And be safe, and we'll see you guys next time. And hopefully we can get a positive result on Saturday. But whatever happens on Saturday, you best believe it. We'll be here on Wednesday in this channel to talk about it. Love you guys. I'll see y'all. Take care.